Hello all OCR AS economists. You know that in section C of your micro and macro papers you have to choose one out of two of those 20-mark questions to do. 20-mark question, that's worth a third of your AS examination paper. Very important question for that reason. It's an evaluate question, but now worth 20 marks, therefore different to the previous question, which was only worth 10 marks at the end of section B. That means you still need to do a two-sided argument, that's very important, but you now need a judgment. And you can't hit the top level when it comes to the marks in this question unless you do a good judgment. So it's an essay, a big essay, you've got to define your key terms. Often the question will come with a tiny bit of context, a couple of lines before the question to give you context. Don't define anything from there, don't worry about that. Just define the key terms in the question that underpin your essay. Then go straight into your, on the one hand, let me answer the question. What are my points on the one hand, on one side of the argument, to answer this question? You're looking to make 2 points on the one hand, and both of those points need to be explained in depth, as I mentioned in my last video. Assume nothing of the examiner at all. Assume the examiner doesn't know any economics. That will force you to write in serious depth. Make sure you apply throughout as well. That's where your own knowledge and your own reading will be very helpful in application here. So you're doing that throughout your writing for each point. And of course, a diagram may well be useful depending on what the question is. The question may even force you to draw a diagram. But if not, a diagram may still be useful, in which case make sure it's properly labelled, make sure it's accurate, there is nothing missing, make sure it's drawn well, but you've got to refer to it in your writing. Talk about it, analyse it, explain why you shifted curves, why the price has gone up or down, why quantity's gone up or down, make that all very clear. Okay? For macro, why is inflation going up and down, why is real GDP increasing or decreasing, etc. So 2 points on the one hand done in depth with application. Then straight into on the other hand. What are the limitations of that theory you've just made? You're looking for 2 arguments on the other hand, right? So this is the other side of the debate, and you're questioning the theory that you said on the one hand. So we're looking to question that theory by writing 2 limitations, 2 arguments on the other hand. But again, those 2 arguments need to be explained in depth, serious depth of writing and explanation here, and they need to be applied, again, using your own knowledge, your own reading to help you there. Again, if a diagram is relevant, put it in, as I said before, that kind of detail is required for the diagram. So that's great, that's kind of the main skeleton of your answer. But before you finish, you've done your evaluation, you've done your on the one hand, you've done your definitions. Before you finish, you've got to do this judgment. You can't get to the top level without the judgment. There are 3 key things the OCR examiner is looking for you to do in this judgment. Number 1, you need to answer the question explicitly. No sitting on the fence. Take a stance, yes or no, in answering the question. Be clear with that. And justify why. Don't be afraid of saying yes or no, getting off the fence, because nothing in economics is ever certain or guaranteed. No one is ever just right or wrong. So as long as you justify why you said what you said, you will always score marks. So justifying why, focusing on the key arguments in the debate, weighing up your points which have led you to that judgment is important. But crucially, this last bit, give balance. So if your answer is yes, maybe it's yes, but only if this happens, only if the government does that, only if businesses respond in this way, whatever, or only if this actually changes in the economy. It might be but, so i.e. dependent on something happening in the economy, depending on something changing in the economy, or whatever. If your answer is no, don't just say no because of this. Say, well then what should be done? Maybe an alternative policy should be used. Maybe a complementary policy should be used alongside it so that we can combat whatever the problem might be as best as possible, instead of just using one policy which might be ineffective. So don't just say yes or no. Look to give balance. You've justified why you said yes or no, but giving balance shows a bit of humility in economics, shows that you're aware of the risks involved with that judgment, that you're a critical economist and you know it's not as simple as yes or no all the time in economics. For micro, a lot of your 20 markers will be market failure based. In fact, it's a good bet to assume that every 20-mark question will kind of be a market failure based question. So that will help you, but there are lots of policies to focus on, lots of different types of market failure. So just bear that in mind. For market failure for micro. For macro, again, you're expecting a policy somewhere, for sure, as a 20-marker, but there's a range of questions in macro, so not as certain. But this structure is certain if you follow it and you write in the depth that I'm asking you to do, and you follow exactly how to write the different processes here, you are going to score very close to full marks, which would be great for you in hitting your A grade at AS level. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Good luck in your exams. See you all later.